Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
I get it. But the outside world is full of danger. Gloria murmured, and her eyes turned red. If it were not for the dangers outside, Nicole would have never left home for 5 years with no news. They did not even know if she was still alive or not. Gloria's words made the atmosphere grow heavy. Nicole's disappearance was truly a pain in the entire family's heart, causing them an indescribable wound. "Auntie, we'll take good care of her this time," Jared claimed, his aura determined. Jared would not allow anyone to harm Nicole anymore. "Mom, we'll protect her too." The few brothers had the same conviction. Daniel came home at this moment and heard their declaration. He comforted Gloria. "Take it easy. Let's give the kids a chance. Plus, we can't lock Nicole up in the house." The family loved Nicole. It was only natural to give her space and freedom to grow. If Nicole wanted to stay at home, they would support her decision. If Nicole rather went out into the world, they would never be an obstruction in her path. Nicole's eyes had a hint of bliss, but she felt a tingling sensation in her nose. Her family gave her an immense amount of strength. For them, Nicole had the courage to face the future. "Don't worry about me. I'll take care of myself." Nicole noticed, even though she had lost her memories, her skills did not disappear with them. She would find ways to protect herself, not putting herself in danger. "You must take good care of yourself." Gloria understood it was impossible to let Nicole stay home all day, doing nothing. She then looked at the boys and added seriously, "You must protect her." "Rest assured. We'll protect her," Nicole's 5 brothers replied in unison. They knew the waters seemed peaceful when Nicole just returned, but that was because her identity was not exposed. Today's banquet was an announcement to the world that Nicole was back. The risks of following up would only increase, so they had to be careful. "That's enough for tonight. Good job, everyone. It's time to go back and rest," Daniel cued. "Are you staying back?" Gloria looked at Sean and Steve. The two of them lived on their own after marriage, occasionally visiting them. However, Gloria hoped they would stay back since it was rather late. "We are," Sean and Steve replied, not wanting to deal with any more hassle at this hour. "All right then, go rest." Soon, everyone got back to their rooms to rest. Jared and Nicole returned to their room and prepared to sleep after a quick freshening up. Leaning on the bedside, Nicole slowly moved her feet and felt the soreness from wearing high heels. "Do your feet hurt?" Jared came over and sat on the bedside. His hand wrapped around her feet, slowly messaging them after observing her actions. "Don't." Nicole subconsciously wanted to retreat her foot, but Jared held on even tighter. He said, "Don't move." Jared took a pain-relieving spray from the medical box and sprayed it on Nicole's feet. Then he continued to massage and relax her feet. Watching his natural look, Nicole's cheeks flushed, and she felt a little hot. "It needs to be relieved properly. Otherwise, you'll be sore from walking tomorrow," Jared said worriedly. "Today's socializing went on for too long. I'm not used to it since it's been such a long time since I wore them." Nicole sighed. She had no idea how she was in the past, but while raising the kids in these past 5 years, she rarely wore high heels. "You don't have to wear them to work," Jared reassured calmly. Her comfort was the most important to him. Nicole nodded, thinking, "I avoid wearing them to work. Though I have to wear them during important occasions." The small talk during the massage made Nicole's uneasiness gradually fade away. She felt Jared's tenderness, as if a feather brushed across her heart, making her heart throb. Nicole looked at Jared's soft eyes and gentle movement. Even though he was helping her massage to relieve the soreness on her feet, his expression was as if he was taking care of something precious to him. She bit her lip and whispered, "Thank you." Jared looked up and met Nicole's eyes, but she averted her gaze, unable to maintain eye contact. Her face blushed even redder. Her blushed face and shy demeanor made Jared smirk meaningfully. He had a bad plan in mind. "That's all I get? If you really wanted to thank me, shouldn't you be more sincere?" Sincere. Nicole frowned. She was grateful to him. What else did she need to do to express her gratitude? She directed her confused gaze toward Jared and saw him staring at her lips. Nicole's cheeks burned and rolled her eyes at Jared. "I'm going to sleep now." Nicole lay down and pulled the blanket over her. She even moved toward the bedside in that wrapped position, wanting to stay farther away from Jared. Jared could not help but chuckle at Nicole's adorable gesture. Hearing his laughter, Nicole uncovered the blanket and glared at Jared, embarrassed. "You should go to sleep too." "All right, let's sleep," Jared agreed with a smile. He wanted to lift Nicole's blanket to join her, but Nicole clutched on the blanket tightly, not allowing Jared to join her. Thus, Jared embraced Nicole through the blanket. "Let me go." Nicole protested, feeling exasperated. Jared was doing this on purpose. "Why don't we sleep together? I could sleep with you in my arms." Jared did not compromise. He had no intention of being under the blanket alone anymore. He would be satisfied just by embracing Nicole. After struggling in vain, Nicole accepted that she could not move, so she gritted her teeth and warned, "All right then, but you're not allowed to move." Nicole had no other choice. If they kept debating like this, neither of them would not be able to sleep tonight. Jared instantly pulled up the blanket and extended his arms to hug Nicole. He almost lost his cool when a lovely scent drifted to his nose. "Hey!" Nicole protested, wanting to break free. However, Jared stopped moving after holding her. Only then was Nicole at ease. "Go on and sleep." Jared rested his chin on Nicole's neck. He was fully content with Nicole in his arms. Time passed slowly, and the both of them soon fell asleep after a tiring day. As the sun began to rise, a new day arrived. After the welcoming banquet, all of San Joto knew of Nicole's return. Nicole, on the other hand, naturally became the chairperson of the Riddle Corporation's headquarters. All the shares under Mr. Riddle Sr.'s name were transferred to her. In the boardroom of Riddle Corporation, Nicole sat at the head of the table. Sean and Steve sat on her left and right side, while the other directors were seated in turn. With Nicole's return and her role as the chairperson, Daniel as the acting chairman was now able to rest at home, enjoying his time with Gloria. Nicole had not regained her memories after taking over the company and had no idea about business management. However, she did not feel unfamiliar, thanks to the previous information she read. Hence, she did not show any signs of guilt while sitting at the head of the table. "It's best if the company can operate according to the plan I executed previously. We'd have to rectify anything that could not be previously achieved." Nicole's gaze was extremely cold. The aura surrounding her was heavy and pressuring to others. "Chairman." Someone interrupted her and said kindly, "After all, you haven't been around for the past 5 years. The company's situation isn't the same as it was 5 years ago. So, I don't think we should follow through with the plan that was made 5 years ago." Nicole frowned a little. Those words sounded like kind words, but in actual fact, they were doubting her. 5 years back, Nicole had already known that she was going to take over the company. Therefore, she had made some plans for the company's development. Over the past few days, she had seen the state of the company and found it to be progressing well. However, there were some parts which were not satisfactory. Nicole also admitted that 5 years had been a long time and there were some parts which needed change. But she had gone through all the details and found that the problem was not with the direction they were heading toward. It was on the implementation. "Mr. Walker, I think we should let Nicole decide if it's necessary or not." Sean glanced at Mr. Walker coldly. There was a threat in his eyes. Although Mr. Walker was a senior in the company, his contribution had not been helpful to the company over the years. Instead, there were signs of inactivity. Sean did not look into it as a sign of respect toward his seniority. And yet, Mr. Walker dared to publicly question Nicole. Nicole glanced at him. It was just a quick glance, so she could not read Mr. Walker's reaction. However, that made Mr. Walker conscious and he tried to escape from making eye contact. "She hasn't been around for 5 years. Why does it feel like this brat has gotten a lot more imposing than before? We'll think about whether it's necessary or not. If anyone isn't involved in management, You should just follow the instructions given to you." After Nicole had finished speaking, she recomposed herself and continued assigning other work. Soon, the meeting ended. Following Nicole's instructions to wrap up, everyone involved in the meeting got up and left the room. They were all discussing in groups. No wonder she's Mr. Riddle Sr.'s target successor. Even if it took 5 years of waiting, he would have to wait for her to return. Such a bold and decisive style is really admirable. I think the Riddle Corporation finally has some hope. Hearing everyone's comments, Mr. Walker's gaze turned darker. He grabbed his phone tightly and quietly walked to the stairs. However, he did not realize that there were people watching every single move of his. The directors had all left. The ones left in the meeting room were Nicole, Sean, and Steve. "Sean, have you never doubted Mr. Walker?" Nicole asked solemnly. She felt that with Sean's ability, he would not leave Mr. Walker alone. "At that time you went missing, we weren't in the mood to think about the company. We just tried to maintain our operations as usual. After that, when we slowly went back to work, Mr. Walker did not cross any boundaries. So, we did not bother much," Sean explained. Steve snorted. "I just didn't expect him to make a move this quickly, as soon as you came back. I thought that he had the patience to hold it in, but it seems like it was just because he didn't feel a sense of urgency to make a move." Now that Nicole had just returned, he quickly made a move. Did he really think he could get what he wanted in one day? That's still fine. If someone else makes a move, that'd be even weirder. After all, it was not only one person who had been eyeing on the Riddle Corporation. It would be odd or even more dangerous if things were too quiet. There would be someone watching him. You don't have to worry about the rest either. A hint of coldness flashed through Sean's eyes. In his eyes, no one should ever try to disturb Nicole. Nicole turned to Steve and spoke to him. "Steve, I'll leave the new contract to you. Don't worry. It's not a big issue for me to handle. I love this type of work," Steve replied happily. "It's been 5 years and you're still the same as before. In fact, it's even worse than before," Nicole could not help but tease. One unique thing about Steve was that he loved money. As long as it was something related to earning money, he would be interested in it. It was the right move to turn him into the person in charge of the new contract. Hearing Nicole's words, Sean and Steve widened their eyes in astonishment. Steve almost became speechless. "What did you just say? You remember everything." "It's true, right? She remembers everything, right? Otherwise, why would she have said those words?" Nicole was also caught by surprise. But after a while she shook her head and regretfully said, "No. I don't remember anything. It's just that very moment, this sentence crossed my mind, and I said it out loud." Nicole did not understand what was going on either. However, she was very sure that she did not recall anything. Seeing Nicole's expression, Sean composed himself and comforted her. "Although you don't remember it, the fact that you had such a reaction proves that your brain is active again. You'll be able to recall everything one day, don't rush into it." Worried that Nicole would be sad about it, Steve echoed, "That's right. Don't rush into it. Even if you can't recall it, it's fine as it wouldn't affect anything." Nicole forced a smile on her face and said, "Yeah, I understand." After all, no one could force things to happen. All Nicole could do was to wait and hope for a miracle to happen. Although it seemed like not being able to recall her memory had no effect on her life and work, Nicole still wished to remember all those things from the past. Especially those memories about Jared and her. Jared's handsome face appeared in her mind and Nicole could not help but bite her lip. If they really were so in love as others had described, Nicole would not want to forget those moments from the past. Nicole took a deep breath and regained her composure. With a firm tone, she said, "All right, let's all get back to work. Let's go." Sean and Steve followed Nicole out of the meeting room, and everyone headed back to their own office. As she returned to her office and sat down, Nicole's gaze turned dark. At some point, she really wondered if she had actually regained her memory. If she could recall anything from the past, perhaps the way she interacted with Jared would be different. Meanwhile, at Johnston Group, Jared was leaning on his office chair while going through the materials which Max had just sent over. "Sir, there's still no news about what happened 5 years ago." Max did not seem to be in good shape. He did not expect the investigation to be this difficult. "Keep searching." When Jared thought about how Nicole had returned once and almost lost her life, his eyes turned cold. "Noted," Max replied obediently. "Have you found anything about the Genesis group?" Jared asked in a slightly stern tone. Lawrence had hidden Nicole for 5 years. And once Nicole returned to San Giotto, he had followed as well. On top of that, he expanded his business to San Giotto too. What a tricky man. Jared had to be wary of Lawrence. Although they used to be friends, Jared just realized that he did not know much about Lawrence. In fact, one could say that he did not know a thing about Lawrence. Lawrence's appearance at San Giotto this time around seemed fishy to Jared. Jared could not pinpoint what was wrong. "I've investigated and it seems like Lawrence is a greedy man. The planning for Genesis Group is clear and there are some fringe industries on the side. However, their partnership with the Riddle Corporation is formal," Max replied truthfully. "Get the men to continue watching." Jared gave his order with narrowed eyes. "Noted." After Max nodded, he left the office. Jared's eyes darkened a little. The reason he was cautious about Lawrence was not just because he liked Nicole. It was also because he had an inexplicable sixth sense toward Lawrence. He always felt that Lawrence was hiding a secret and it was about Nicole. The sun has set, and night has fallen. Nicole walked out of the Riddle Corporation and saw Jared's car parked by the roadside waiting. The corners of her mouth slightly lifted as she walked over slowly. But before she could reach Jared's car, 2 more cars drove over and stopped beside her. She could tell that those were Samuel and Spencer's cars. She was surprised to see them there. But after the cars came to a halt, 2 girls got out and ran toward Nicole. "Nicole, did you really come back? Why didn't you contact us? We only found out after we saw the news." The 2 girls who suddenly appeared hugged Nicole tightly. Nicole was a little surprised and almost wanted to push them aside instinctively. However, she sensed a familiar feeling and resisted her instincts. She just froze and let those 2 girls hug her while bawling. "That's enough. It's good news that Nicole is back. Why are you girls crying?" "That's right. The both of you have been crying to meet her. Isn't she here right now?" Samuel and Spencer were comforting Lulu and June. It was heartbreaking to see them cry. The 2 girls hugged Nicole and cried for a long while before letting go. While sizing Nicole up, they questioned, "It seems like you haven't changed at all. Where have you been over the past 5 years? Why didn't you contact us?" Facing a series of questions, Nicole sighed internally and tried to calm herself down. "I ran into some problems, but all that has passed." Nicole knew that these 2 girls were Lulu and June, her best friends from Royal Creek Institute. It was mentioned in the materials which Jared had given Nicole. She knew that these 2 girls were trustworthy. However, Nicole did not plan to tell them about her incident. For one thing, it was better if less people knew about her problem. Another was that Nicole did not want the girls to worry about her after seeing how nervous they were. On the other hand, Lulu and June could tell that Nicole did not want to talk about what happened in the past 5 years. So, they did not press Nicole with more questions. That was the chemistry they've built over the years. When it came to anything related to Nicole, they would not ask if she did not want to talk about it. "Since you're back, you won't leave anymore, right?" Lulu asked the question bluntly. June glanced at Lulu and said while shaking her head, "She's already taken over the Riddle Corporation. How could she leave?" Lulu stuck out her tongue. She was dwelling in the heat of the moment, so she did not think through it. But as soon as she knew that Nicole would not be leaving, Lulu was genuinely happy about it. She carefully asked, "Then, can we have dinner together tonight? Why don't we schedule another day?" Nicole replied hesitantly. After all, she had no memory of them. All she knew were their identities only, and that would make it hard for her to connect with them. Nicole needed more time to process and accept things. She was also clear that she could not treat these 2 girls coldly just as how she did to others. Yet, Nicole could not force herself to be close with them. She must be tired since she had just taken over the company. Why don't the both of you wait till she has adjusted herself to the environment? Then we'll have a good meal together. Samuel attempted to save Nicole out of that situation. The boys were not sure about Nicole's decision on her loss of memory. Therefore, they did not tell June and Lulu about it. But looking at how Nicole was acting, they roughly guessed that Nicole did not want to reveal it. With that, the boys could only remain silent about the matter. It was only then that Lulu and June realized something. They turned to Samuel and Spencer and said, "The both of you had already known about Nicole's return, and yet you guys kept it a secret from us?" What they had done was a bit too much. The girls had been worried sick every day because of the accident which Nicole had been involved in. And now, even after Nicole had returned, the boys still kept it from the girls. Spencer and Samuel looked at each other and began crying on the inside. They could only play along and take the blame. "I'm sorry, but we could not reveal the news of Nicole's return to anyone because of certain reasons." "Oh, so we're just anyone to you now?" the girls asked, feeling very upset after the double whammy. "Of course not," Samuel replied, suddenly realizing that he had uttered a number of inappropriate words. Spencer rolled his eyes at Samuel and made the wise choice to remain silent. Observing the reactions of everyone around her, Nicole frowned a little and interrupted, "All of you." Hearing this, June and Lulu froze and began to blush. At that sight, Nicole acquired a clearer idea of what the situation was. As it turned out, it was Samuel and Spencer who had brought them over. That would make more sense. Nicole had no memory of being a matchmaker, but she was happy to be in the middle of the situation between her two brothers and her best friends. Seeing that Nicole had been chatting with the rest for a long time already, Jared came over, trying to bring her away. "Let's go." "Bye, Nicole," the two girls said. June and Lulu were a little reluctant to let Nicole go, but when they thought about the fact that the responsibilities in the Riddle Corporation fell squarely on Nicole's shoulders, they figured that Nicole must be very busy. Therefore, the girls could not do anything but allow it. "See you next time." Nicole bade, feeling a lot closer to those two girls who were her best friends and potential sisters-in-law. The two girls smiled in satisfaction after Nicole had made them the promise. They were at peace, knowing that they would still meet Nicole soon. Nicole walked away with Jared while Lulu and June breathed a huge sigh. After all these years, everyone was close to losing hope. But fortunately, she came back. Cautiously, Samuel and Spencer replied, "All of that is now in the past. There will be nothing but good things in the future." "I hope she will get through all of her predicaments," June and Lulu prayed, their eyes gleaming with hope. Although Nicole had not mentioned anything to them, one could already tell that life was not easy when she had to live away from home for 5 years. "Come on, I'll treat all of you to something as a token of apology," Samuel suggested, attempting to change the topic. "I don't plan to forgive you, not even after the meal." Lulu snorted angrily. Yet, she still turned around and got into Spencer's car. After June had followed Samuel into the car, the rest of them followed suit and left. On the other hand, Jared and Nicole were heading to the Riddle family. "How are you?" Jared asked out of concern. Even though Nicole had been at the company for several days now, she was only there to understand the company's situation. What she had been doing was still distinct from the actual job scope of a chairman. With that in mind, Jared was not sure how Nicole was coping with it. "With Sean and Steve around, everything has been running smoothly," Nicole replied without much thought. "Good to know that everything is going well." Jared smirked a little. Although Nicole had retained none of her memories, these things were not a challenge to her at all, and her capabilities were as surprising as they used to be. "Nolan and Lana are going to preschool tomorrow," Nicole reminded Jared. "Yeah, I'll be there to send them." Jared nodded and promised. He would never miss such an event. Nicole bit her lips lightly. Jared was such a show-off. Nicole did not really want him to appear for fear of catching people's attention. But once she thought about how excited Lana would be, Nicole concluded that she could not stop Jared. And as if Jared could read Nicole's mind, he held her hands and said in a gentle voice, "Don't worry. The school you've chosen for Nolan and Lana is perfect for them. I've already arranged everything. No one would be suspicious of their identities. Jared had done all the necessary preparations and precautions. Even if he made an appearance, no news about it would leak out. The kids would have to attend school, but it went without saying that they should not be put in any danger. Hearing this, Nicole felt a sense of peace and replied, "All right. As long as everything is in place." It was appropriate for Jared to be ready. Even if there were no issues with the information, the two of them would have to come in contact with their kids, one way or another. If any unscrupulous individuals were to happen upon it, they would put the kids in danger. That was the last thing Jared wanted to witness and deal with. By the time they arrived at the Riddle family manor, Samuel and Spencer had not returned, and the only ones at home were Daniel, Gloria, and Stanley. They were all accompanying Nolan and Lana, helping them with the pile of presents on the coffee table. "Mommy, you're back." Nolan ran over happily. Then, Lana followed closely from behind and hurried into Jared's arms. "Daddy." Carrying Lana up, Jared promptly asked, "What are you guys doing?" "We're going to school tomorrow. These are the presents which Grandpa, Grandma, and Uncle gave us," Lana said, waving her chubby hands while pointing at the coffee table. A slight twitch crossed Nicole's lips as she heard that. "That's a little too much." "It's not much. These are all things which the kids would need, or perhaps like." Gloria flashed a loving smile. "These are not even enough for the kids," the old woman thought. "Mommy, Daddy, how about the both of you? Did you prepare any presents for us?" Lana blinked her eyes in anticipation. "If there are presents, Mommy and Daddy would prepare some for us too, right?" she wondered. Nicole pinched Nolan's nose lovingly and said, "You greedy one. Are you not satisfied with this amount of gifts already? I guess that means there are no presents." Lana pouted, looking as if she was really disappointed. "Lana, what present do you want?" Jared instantly felt guilty, evoking his desire to fulfill all of Lana's requests. "I want..." Lana paused, feeling too perplexed to offer a complete response. What sort of present could she possibly desire? As things stood, it seemed that Lana did not need anything else. It was just that everyone else had given her a gift, so her parents should each give her one too. Nicole was trying hard not to laugh as she took Lana away from Jared. She placed the little one down on the couch, sat down together, and smiled. "We do not have any presents, but we will send you both to the kindergarten ourselves. Is that okay? Didn't you promise us that long ago? This does not count." Lana protested, not wanting to give in. Nicole could not help but massage her forehead. This girl is such a cheeky one. Who did she take after? A smile flashed across Jared's eyes, after which he said, "I will promise you one thing. The moment you've thought of the gift that you want, you will tell me then. Is that fine?" It was only then that Lana happily replied, "Sure. It's a deal. Pinky promise." After Jared had sealed the deal by hooking his pinky finger with Lana's, she continued unboxing her presents joyfully. Nolan watched the entire scene as it played out before him and pursed his lips. Then, he quietly unboxed his presents. He had to control himself. At the end of the day, it was just a request. He could surely ask for it from his godfather. Keeping a close eye at Nolan's movements, Jared raised his eyebrows subtly. This pretentious little one. In the blink of an eye, the next day arrived. Early in the morning, Nolan and Lana had woken up feeling totally ecstatic of going to school. It was not just because they could go to school. Most importantly, they finally had their parents to send them there. From now onwards, they would not be questioned or ridiculed by the other kids. When Nicole and Jared headed downstairs, the two cuties were already sitting at the couch, waiting with bags on their back. "Don't tell me that the both of you are planning to skip breakfast and go to school right away," Nicole remarked, becoming instantly crossed. "Even if we eat, we'll have to carry these bags behind our back," Lana replied as she zipped her bag straps up. It was as if she was worried that others would take it away from her. "The both of them have been here waiting since they came down early in the morning." Gloria smiled, her eyes brimming with affection. Then, she greeted Nicole and Jared. "Get ready for breakfast. I don't think these kids can wait to go to school already." All right, Nicole answered, after which she brought Nolan and Lana to the dining room. Once everyone in the family was seated, they began to eat, and when everyone had finished their meal, Nolan and Lana impatiently pulled Jared and Nicole out. These kids. Gloria laughed, unable to resist it. Going to school will definitely be a lot more interesting than staying at home with old people like us, Daniel said in an effort to deprecate himself. Mom, Dad. The both of you are not even old, and you have grandchildren already. Perhaps in the next 2 years, you'll get to have another grandchild. So, you must take good care of your body. Samuel laughed. Another grandchild? What do you mean? Gloria raised her eyebrows and looked at Samuel. Don't look at me. I'm referring to Sean and Steve. It is still way too early for me. Samuel passed the buck to Sean and Steve, becoming nervous upon being questioned that way. Mom, we're leaving now. Spencer left after he had spoken, almost as though he did not want to carpool with Samuel. Wait for me. Samuel sprinted after him as if he was being pursued. Hey, didn't you mention that you're dating someone? Why aren't you introducing her to the family? What is going on? Gloria could tell that the twins were trying to weasel their way out of the conversation, so she let out a sigh. Perhaps, these kids are not ready yet. After all, they are already adults. It's not our right to worry about them too much anymore, Daniel comforted. They are all grown up and have their own opinions now, Gloria said in defeat, though she still felt conflicted. Mom, Dad, we're leaving too, Stanley said, bidding them goodbye once he saw that everyone had left the house. He had gone upstairs to grab some things before that. Then, Gloria got up and said, Lana and Nolan are going to preschool. I wonder if they can adapt to the place. Gloria thought that Nolan and Lana were cute and lovable, unlike the boys who no longer needed her after they had all grown up. They can. Those 2 kids are smart and quick-witted. Furthermore, they are just so adorable. I'm sure they'll do well in school. The teachers will really love them too, Daniel finished. On the other hand, Jared and Nicole had sent Nolan and Lana to the school. Nicole had given it some thought and chosen a school that was nearer to the Riddle family manor. Although it was not one of the top kindergartens in San Joto, the facilities and all other aspects were pretty well covered. Most importantly, it was closer in proximity to their residence. If the kids were to ever find themselves in an emergency, the family could help take care of them. Aside from that, the school was not as appealing as the rest inn. As they reached the school, they saw that the teachers were already at the entrance, welcoming the students. Good morning, teacher. Nolan and Lana stood in line and politely greeted the teacher. Good morning, everyone, the teacher replied, instantly in love with the 2 cuties. Teacher, are these the new kids? A chubby girl, who had also arrived, curiously asked when she saw Nolan and Lana. Yes, I'm Lana and this is my brother Nolan. How about you? Lana greeted, engaging in the conversation. My name is Nona, the chubby girl replied. Nona, please bring Lana and Nolan inside, the teacher ordered. Noted, Nona agreed as she pulled Lana by the hand, but the moment she reached out to pull Nolan's, he evaded her grasp and walked in on his own. He did not need a younger person to take care of him. Daddy, Mommy, remember to pick us up after school. Lana waved to them before walking in with Nona. Wow, both of your parents came to drop you off. You're so lucky. Only my mom came with me, Nona said in jealousy and admiration. Lana puffed up her chest smugly and responded, yeah, they're coming to pick us up later too. Seeing this, Nicole was left feeling really amused by Lana's behavior. So this is how she is when she gets what she wants. She just wants to rub it in everyone's face. She's just a little kid, after all. Let's go, Jared said. And after they had dropped the kids off, they left the place for work. When they arrived at the headquarters of the Riddle Corporation, Nicole strode into her office and the secretary left after handing Nicole a file. Her gaze darkened and she frowned when she looked at the documents. As expected, Mr. Walker was restless for a reason. He had secretly been in contact with Damien, but Nicole should have thought about it sooner nonetheless. Damien was previously the one who was in charge of the company, so it was only natural for him to have his people around. Though Nicole's uncles each had their own companies to run, they might still deploy some of their personnel to keep an eye on the headquarters. During her absence in the past few years, Mr. Walker had been rather well behaved, but now that she was back, and with the fact that she had acquired both her grandfather's shares and position as the CEO of the Riddle Corporation had definitely placed him on edge. Unfortunately, though Damien had hidden his agendas and intentions well, tucking them where nobody would suspect anything, he had gotten himself a useless ally. It was just too obvious. Were they not expecting me to get all suspicious? She wondered. Nicole smiled coldly as she closed the file. Both Damien and Dillian were suspected of harming Mr. Riddle Sr., though the doctor was nowhere to be found. Nicole still believed that both her uncles would eventually unveil their true colors, and now was a good time for her to give them a nudge. Let's put this Mr. Walker to good use, she thought. In the evening, Nicole and Jared went to the kindergarten to pick their kids up, but it was then that they discovered someone else had taken both Nolan and Lana. At the same time, Lawrence was standing by the road with both of the little ones. Nolan was looking up and saying something to Lawrence. Judging by the smile on his face, he was probably talking about something good that had happened in the kindergarten on that day. Nolan, Lana. Nicole got down from the car and called out to her children as she made her way toward them. Mommy. Lana opened her arms, as though asking for a hug, and ran up to Nicole. Jared was walking behind Nicole, and after Lana had hugged Nicole, she leaped into Jared's arms at once. Daddy. Jared held her up and stared at Lawrence. At that moment, the warm love in his eyes froze over. It was Nolan and Lana's first day at preschool today, but Lawrence had already picked them up after they were done with their classes. It seemed that he was pretty well informed about Nicole and her kids. Lawrence shrugged when he noted Jared's gaze. I heard the kids were going to preschool, so I paid them a visit. It seems to me that you're not busy with your Genesis group, Mr. Royce. That explains why you're so free to show up anytime, Jared remarked, sounding as though he was warning Lawrence. Though Lawrence had claimed that he was just Nicole's friend, there were still boundaries that should not be crossed. He did not have the right to pay this much attention to Nicole. In fact, it could even be argued that he was monitoring them. If no one was watching Nicole every day, it would be impossible for Lawrence to get such detailed information about her and the children. Lawrence knew what Jared was trying to say, but he ignored it anyway. He was adamant about getting his hands on Nicole, and for that reason, he was not going to back down. Nicole, I'd like to invite you, Lana, and Nolan out for dinner today. Just take it as a celebration, for them having found a preschool that they like. Lawrence looked at Jared before asking Nicole out. Feeling challenged, Jared's gaze became even frostier. His tone was menacing as he said, "It's a father's responsibility to find a school that's the best for them. It's nothing worth celebrating." Don't stress it, Mr. Johnston. While you were not present in their lives, Nicole and I have been treating them well too, Lawrence calmly said, though every word uttered was extremely provocative. Jared's expression darkened. Lawrence had hit the nail on the head, for this was indeed Jared's regret. Nevertheless, it was still not Lawrence's place to say something like that. Right. Since you're their godfather, it's only reasonable for you to look after them a little, Jared retorted. At the end of the day, Lawrence was just their godfather. He had no blood relations with either of the children at all. Lawrence clenched his jaw after Jared had put him in his place. Indeed, he was just their godfather, a position he was not happy with. He wanted to be their father. And due to their argument, a headache was beginning to set in for Nicole. The kids had dinner in their school already. Let's do it on the weekends. The kids can have some time to relax as well. If they went out to eat today, Nicole might experience indigestion again. However, she could not reject Lawrence's invitation as he was their godfather. Besides, he genuinely cared for them as well. Mommy, Nolan protested. He truly missed Lawrence, as it had been some time since he last saw him. On the weekend it is. Daddy can join us too. Lana accepted the invitation and included Jared in the arrangement herself. Jared looked at her, his eyes brimming with affection. She's just so thoughtful. What an angel. Nicole's lips twitched while she smiled. She did not want to invite Jared, as she was the only one who would be affected whenever Jared and Lawrence were in the same room together. She was already getting a headache just thinking about it. Sure. Lawrence brushed Lana's head affectionately. He agreed to the arrangement pretty quickly, as if he was happy as long as the children were happy. Let's go home. Jared glanced over at Lawrence, held Lana up, and proceeded to walk to the car. Lana did as she was supposed to right away and waved at Lawrence. Bye-bye, Godfather. Lawrence smiled dotingly and nodded to Lana as well. See ya. Godpa, why don't you come over to our grandma's house? Nolan tugged on Lawrence's shirt as he did not want to leave him. Nicole instantly knew what Nolan was cooking up in his head, prompting her to pat his head and say, "Don't disturb him. Let's go home." I know why he's so close to Lawrence, and I know how he feels about him. But I just can't bring myself to give Lawrence anything, she thought. She had remained friends with Lawrence throughout the 5 years she was on the island. Now that she was back here, there was simply no reason for her to take their relationship to the next level. For that reason alone, she was not going to allow Nolan to fool around anymore. Lawrence's gaze darkened when he saw Nicole stopping Nolan. Though she had lost her memories, she is still willing to get close to Jared. But why? Why can't she just give me a chance? Nicole did not notice the change in Lawrence's expression as her eyes were on Nolan. She then looked at him with a smile and said, "Well, let's meet on the weekend." "Sure, see you then," Lawrence responded gently. "See you, Godfather," Nolan said. The boy knew that he could not change anything, so he left with his mother with a cloud of gloom over his head. But before he could go, Lawrence patted his shoulder and said, "You're a man. When Godfather is not around, be sure to take care of Mommy."
Please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.